Hey everyone, welcome to Bodybuilding Nation. The prejudging for the 2025 Toronto Pro Super Show has just wrapped up, and it's shaping up exactly as we anticipated. The clear top two competitors are Sas and Regan Grimes. These two standouts were even sent back in line after the first four-man call-out for additional comparisons, highlighting their dominance over the rest of the field. This competition could turn out more interesting than initially expected. When these athletes first appeared on stage in the opening four-man call-out, I had Regan winning. He came out looking massive, full as a house, and in excellent condition. If you watch the back poses especially, we often discuss Regan's superior width and size from the rear compared to Sas. But what really caught my attention were his hamstrings. They displayed incredible conditioning, perhaps even more detailed than Sas Heirati's, particularly in this initial call-out. What became fascinating, however, was the progression through prejudging to the final two-man comparison where they isolated Regan and Sas. I noticed Regan appeared to be fading considerably as prejudging continued. The judges put them through numerous posing rounds in that final head-to-head, and the competitive gap seemed to narrow as time went on. This scenario feels reminiscent of what we witnessed in New York with Regan. He started prejudging looking extremely strong, but as the comparisons continued, his condition began to deteriorate. Specifically, you could observe him beginning to sweat profusely, especially in that final two-man call-out against Sas. By the conclusion of that comparison, his tan was visibly running down his abdominals, and you could tell he was struggling to maintain his initial condition. The question becomes, will this decline be enough to give Sas the edge? It's interesting to consider the New York precedent where, despite experiencing a worse fade than what we saw today, Regan still placed ahead of Sas, finishing fourth while Sas took fifth. However, I believe this is a somewhat improved version of Sasserati compared to what we saw in New York. This could be an extremely close decision. What do you think? Was Regan's deteriorating condition sufficient to swing the victory towards Sas? I imagine many of you will say yes, as there are numerous Sas supporters who want to see him earn that Olympia qualification, myself included. I believe Sas belongs on the Olympia stage and would love to see him win a show to qualify. Despite that personal preference, I'm trying to objectively assess what we saw. When examining Sas's conditioning, it's most evident in his quadriceps, which display deep separation and striations. Undeniably, Sas presented in excellent shape today and maintained his condition throughout. Unlike Regan. Regan started strong, appearing full and massive, but I don't believe he looked quite as good as he did at the California Pro. Meanwhile, Sas seems improved from his New York showing, though perhaps not better than his California appearance. Rewatching the final two-man call-out, where the judges really pushed these competitors through extensive comparisons, Regan's fading condition becomes increasingly apparent. This suggests to me that the competition is extremely close, not the runaway victory for Regan that many predicted. Of all the Regan versus Sas confrontations we've seen, I've had Regan winning the previous two encounters. However, I'm going to say third time's the charm for this one and actually switch my prediction to Sas Heirati. Based on prejudging, I believe Sas has the slight edge. Regan could certainly come back improved for finals and potentially reclaim the lead, but the more I review that final comparison, the more evident his fading condition becomes. Meanwhile, Sas appeared to be getting sharper and more detailed as prejudging progressed. If Regan doesn't return dramatically improved for finals, he could be in genuine trouble. What makes this particularly interesting is the short time frame between prejudging and finals at this show. Only about an hour separates the two segments. Finals will be starting very soon, and it's extremely challenging to make significant improvements in such a limited window. If Regan can't recover and enhance his condition, I believe Sas may finally secure his victory. My prediction going into the show was that Regan would win, but now I'm thinking it might be third time lucky for Sas. What are your thoughts? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this analysis, please hit that like button and subscribe to Bodybuilding Nation for more competition coverage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.